Hi everybody, welcome to quarantine workout number 38. Today we're going to do a body weight circuit, and then I have a series of moves that are designed to work on the different elements of the breaststroke that we're going to run through, and that's going to be circuit number 2. You're going to need a stability ball for some of those movements in the breaststroke circuit, and if you don't have that, you can skip those moves, or you can try to imitate them without the stability ball, and I'll try to remember to go through some of that stuff. Additionally, today I want you to do some running. I'm going to leave it up to you what kind of running you want to do. If you want to go something long, aerobic, if you want to go do some hill sprints, if you want to do some descending sets, some builds, some short sprints, it's kind of up to you, but I would like you to get out there and do a little bit of running today. So we'll start, of course, with our general warm-up, and then from there we're going to go into not 10 and 10. We're going to skip 10 and 10 today and go right into the iso cuff series. You can link right up there to get to that iso cuff series if you need to see those details. Okay, so next we got our circuit number 1. We're going to go through this 3 times. Like I said, it's a body weight circuit, and it's going to be some aerobic, but it's very, very core focused. So when you guys do this and you're going to go 3 rounds, you're going to do everything for 30 seconds. I'm going to demo the whole thing straight through, but I'm just going to work 15 seconds of each thing for time right here. So let's see, starting right here, we've got side plank dips. You're going to go 20 side plank dips, and then after you finish that 20th dip, you're just going to hold for the rest of the 30 seconds, for the remainder of the 30 seconds. From there, you're going to switch into plank. You're just going to hold your plank for 30 seconds, make it a good planks. This is nice and static. We're getting off to a pretty chill start. And then when you guys do this, you're just going to switch to the other side, but I'm going to go ahead and switch my body position here. Got your dips, 20 dips. Make sure you're getting down as far to the ground as you can, all the way up in neutral position, nice and stacked up, then hold for the remainder of the time. From there, you're going to transition into transformers. I want you to switch at the bottom. So you see I'm switching the direction every time when I get back down to the forearms. And then from there, you're into burpees. Down to straight arms, dynamic 2-point plank here. Good control on this one. And then right into the ins and outs. So get your feet planted on these. Make sure you're getting your heels on the ground. From there, you got a dolphin soup plank. So here, arms to the ground and you're up. Squeeze the back, get the hips up, squeeze the glutes, keep pressure. Your forearms, wrists, strong against the ground right here. So you're holding that back kick. You should feel it in the glutes, hamstrings, feel it in the back. And that was a little extra credit there. So go ahead, get through that 3 times. Take about a minute rest in between. And then we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, so let's work on some breaststroke now. Like I said, I'm going to be using the stability ball here. These are really simple, easy to pick up. I found this one at CVS for like 15 bucks. So it was definitely a good buy, and this is definitely the best utility that I've found for it is working on this breaststroke stuff. I really like it for this kind of stuff. So I encourage you to go out and get one for yourself. And, you know, for the parents out there, it doubles as it's a great switch up to your home office desk chair. You know, change it up a little bit, work your balance, engage your core a little bit. Hopefully you're doing some standing and walking around too. So what we're going to start with is some hip stuff. We're going to do a glute bridge where you're squeezing the mid ball between your knees. In breaststroke, with the kick, you got to be able to squeeze your knees together. You got to be able to adduct as you kick, as you push your legs back. And when you finish that kick, your glutes need to be engaged so that your legs sweep up behind you and reduce your drag. So I'm going to hold this ball between my knees. I'm going to squeeze it nice and tight. I like my arms here, but really if you want to put them down on your side, whatever, that's fine. And I'm gonna keep weight in the heels, squeeze that ball tight, I'm gonna drive up. Now this is my neutral, I just wanna find the ground and drive back up. Little pause at the top. I don't wanna rest at the bottom. I wanna come up, squeeze, lower, and get right back up there. So you go through 20 of that, you're gonna be doing 20 of all of these moves here. Once I finish that, got one more move with the med ball here. I'm gonna flip around onto my stomach, and I'm gonna be doing a prone stomach med ball raise. I'm gonna be pointing my toes here, grabbing the ball on either side with my feet. I wanna grab it nice and low, and then I'm gonna lift it up with my legs, and I'm gonna raise my hips, or raise my legs rather from my hips, and I just wanna lift the knee. You notice it's not a knee bend. I'm lifting from the hip, and I just want my knee to come up, 1, maybe 2 inches off the ground. That's all I'm working on there. Again, I gotta squeeze the legs together and raise the legs up using the glutes, all right? 20 of those, of course. From there, we're gonna work the out sweep. So, out sweep drill here, you can use a TRX. I'm just gonna use this bed sheet from the DIY suspension series, the little tutorial that I did. This is the one with the knot in the end that you can throw up over the door. Make sure the door is closed. If you watch that video, you'll get that reference. So the out sweep, when I finish my breaststroke, and my thumbs will be down, I'm gonna start my out sweep here, and that's gonna be when I start to really engage with the water dynamically. And when I come around to the corners so that I can grab, I wanna sweep out and get my elbows up. So as I'm sweeping out, I want my elbows all ready to start to come up so I can get a nice high grip for my in sweep, right? So I'm setting that up with the out sweep. I'm already grabbing right from the beginning. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold on to this with my thumbs down, and then as I press out, you'll see I'm going to bring the elbows up, and I'm just going to the corners. It's gonna be kind of speed up. You wanna accelerate through, not jerky, engage smoothly with the move, and then control and release. And the way that I'm gonna set my stance here, I'm gonna lean back into it because I want my arms to be extended out in front of me. So I'm gonna sit my hips back here, and then I like to go onto my heels, and then as I pull myself forwards, I'm gonna stop myself with my toes. So here I am, I move my hips back. When I move my hips back, that's when the heels come up, thumbs are down, my head is down between my arms, and I'm looking right in between my feet. So I'm gonna press out, those elbows get up there. Release. And you should feel nice, strong through the lats, strong through the chest there. All right, so once I finish that out sweep, next thing I want to do is a wide grip push-up. Breaststroke is a stroke, really uses a lot of chest. You come around, you grab the corners, and then you got to squeeze the water together, and that's where you really use the chest dynamically to pull your elbows in underneath your body. Wide grip push-up, fingers pointed out to the side. And there you go, wide grip push-up. After I finish that wide grip push-up, now I'm gonna do my first stability ball move. This one is gonna be a hip up, and I'm holding the ball kind of underneath my shoulders. I'm putting weight on the ball, but I'm also grabbing it and kind of squeezing it together. Again, using the chest to squeeze there. When you do breaststroke, I see a lot of swimmers, they don't really get the hands underneath the body pointed down, and that's where you're gonna find the most power in the stroke. So what I do here, set that up. The other thing you'll see with the hip's gonna move, and I'm really focused on this hip tilt. So it's really the low spine that's moving the most on this one. And then as I bring the hips up, I'm also going to be pointing the toe and plantar flex. So it's gonna look like this. Set myself up nice and stable, right over the ball. Gonna drop the hip down. I'm looking down at the ball, and I'm gonna press up and point the toes. So when you're working that ab contraction, like I said, I'm feeling that mostly in my lower abs. The upper back stays pretty fused, and it's just kind of this shoulder angle that changes a little bit as I change my body angle. So that's the hip up with plantar flexion there. Next one we're gonna do bicep curls. So when you're finishing that stroke, you gotta be able to sweep up and that's going to come from the biceps. So you don't want to use a ton of resistance here. You want to feel in control. Your body position should be great, and plus remember, you're doing 20 reps. So don't start off from a position where you're going to get jerky. Just going to lean back into it, and you really want to keep the elbows up, because in breaststroke I see a lot of people, they want to pull back too much. So if you drop your elbow here, I don't want to be pulling back. I want to keep the elbow up here. So you're going to need a little less resistance. A lot of times I see people, and they're cheating, they're getting themselves going with a row and then finishing with that curl. And that's not what you're looking for here. You want to keep those elbows pointed forward, control through the move, okay? That's bicep curls right there. Next move, we've got the stability ball recovery. This is a fun drill. Oh, by the way, I should mention the hip up. You can do that from a med ball too. Just make sure you're paying attention to squeezing the ball. When the ball is small like this, you could just kind of plank on it, but I want to make sure I'm grabbing it, kind of trying to crush it, right? So that's going to engage the chest a lot more. I like this one better because, as you probably noticed, you get a little bit more wobbly, a little bit less stable, and that makes you work a little bit more to try to hold that position. Your muscles are constantly adjusting to that change in stability, trying to maintain, okay? So you can do it on the med ball though. Stability ball, definitely better. What we got next? From there, oh yeah, the recovery. All right, so I like this recovery drill. One thing I want to point out, because it is very much about the arms. The other thing though, that you want to be aware of is that when I did the hip up, I was really focused on my lower abs. This one, I'm going to be focused more on my upper spine. So when I shoot my arms forward, when I extend forward, the head's going to move and my upper back is going to move. And when you're doing the stroke, you want both of those things to happen. So this one's going to be more about the upper back, the lower back, the abs, the lower abs, the hips I should say. They're going to be a little bit more static on this one. So when I do this one, the mistake I always make is I set up too far forward on the ball. So you want to make sure you're kind of setting up back on the ball. I'll show you from the front and from the side. So I'm going to set up on the ball here, and I want to create this wedge with my arms. And then that's going to be what I drive forward. And as I extend, I want to rotate and get my palms facing down. So I'm going to be here, and then I'm going to and you'll feel this one when you get extended, just like on a shift back. That's going to challenge your core a little bit more. And when you extend your arms, you want your elbows to be kind of right dead center on the ball. So from the side here, you see what this one looks like. Got that wedge shape. And you can see how the head moves. I'm not throwing it down so much as I'm thinking about driving the top of my head forward, okay? That's that recovery drill. Now the last one, this one takes a little bit of playing around. You gotta have a stretch cord for this, and pretty much every family should have a bunch of these carabiners right here, just lying around in a junk drawer of the garage or something. So what I'm gonna do here, I've decided I really like the outside laces for this. So I'm gonna take this and attach it to the outside edge of my laces right here. So you can see when it pulls, it's going to be pulling this way, because I'm going to lead the kick with the inside edge of the foot. So this band is going to be pulling to the outside edge while I'm kicking. So I'll set up both feet that way. And you definitely want to have the band set up as close to the toe as you can, because you want to have that ankle articulation when you finish the kick, all right? Now the next thing I'm going to do, I want to make sure that it's connected up at a high spot and that it's a solid connection. It's not something that's going to break and snap off and hit you in the head. And then I'm going to back up. And you want to really give yourself some resistance here, because you are using your legs, and your legs are very, very strong. When I set up on the ball, I want to have my hips right on top of the ball. I don't want to be back behind, because then what's going to happen is I'm going to kick right into the ground. So I'm going to set up with my hips right on the ball, my hands out in front of me, and then you see the toes evert and the knees stay right behind the hips. And then the kick is gonna drive back, sweep together, point the toes, right? So the kick, gonna look like this. And you could probably notice when I was working that my spine is moving a little bit. And you want to be aware of that. You want to engage your abs as you kick. Drive the feet straight back, point the toes, and sweep them up. When you're doing the kick, what I really want you to do here, everything else is 20. When you get to the kick, I want you to do 20 smooth, and then the next 20, I want you to gradually increase your tempo until you're just really a blur for the last set of 10. So you're gonna go 20 smooth, get a feel for it, good connection, and then 20 where you're gradually increasing the tempo, finishing at a breakneck speed. All right, have fun. Don't forget to go running. All right, how to get these off.